Carol Daniel back on Studio B on KMOX, and we are on the road in Clayton right now. And as I told you a couple of weeks ago, we're going to focus on women and families for the rest of the year on Studio B. And so what better person to talk to than a licensed clinical social worker and a nurse? Say hello to Debbie Granick. Debbie, thank you for having us in your warm and relaxing office.
Thank you. It's great to have you.
So you said to me this interesting line. I got to get this right because it will stun you like it did me. The near pathological eating of sugary carbs is the first sign that your life is out of balance. Raise your hands if you're sure.
My life, for sure.
My life. As I drove here this morning, I thought, okay, ladies, they've told us we can have it all. It doesn't seem like we can have it all because our behavior shows that something is out of whack. Something's out of balance.
You can have it all, but not all at once.
Okay, you can have it all, but not all at once. Thank you, Debbie. We're going to leave now. So if a person senses something's wrong, whether you call it stress or you're upset all the time or crying all the time or furious all the time, frustrated all the time, you say to us that we should ask ourselves four questions that you have identified. And one of those is, are my goals in balance?
Right. And I use these questions not only if my feelings are out of balance, like I'm angry or irritable, but if my behavior is out of balance, if I'm eating too much, if I'm drinking too much, if I'm not exercising, if I'm unmotivated. So it might be an emotional thing, or you might notice, I'm smoking all the time. What's happening with me? I thought I had moved past this bad habit. But yes, that first one is, are my goals in balance? And the real question is, am I focusing purely on what I want in the future, or am I also focusing on my present? Am I taking any time at all to say, thank you for the life that I have, and being gracious for what I do have in the present?
Because we tend to worry about what hasn't even happened yet.
The next best thing.
I think someone called it practice tragedy. We just constantly are thinking of what if, and you're saying we are not focused on the now and being grateful.
Right. And there's a question I asked that I think is very helpful, which is, what would I trade for $1 million? Would I trade my arms, my vision, my hearing?
Oh my.
And if the answer is no, have you been grateful for that? When's the last time you said, wow, would I trade the fact that I can chew? No. When's the last time I said, thank you,
that I can chew?
So it just really gets us back to, let me recenter in my life right now, not all about where do I got to get to get what I want in the future.
So I need to stop thinking the goal is, okay, my son has 2.5 years of college left and I have another one coming, and how am I going to save that money, and how am I going to pay for all of that, and instead be grateful, as I said to my son. Thank God I get to see my son. He's in college. Thank goodness he's in college. All right, so the next question, if you sense that something's out of balance, it's just not as you would want it to be right now, you're not at peace right now. The next question, Debbie, is, are my values in balance? Okay, we've talked about goals, values.
Right. So I have people come to my office all the time, and I always ask them, what do you value most? And they'll say, I value exercise, I value family, I value church or synagogue, I value cooking, time to knit. And I'll say, and when's the last time you exercised, cooked, took time to knit? And they'll be like, oh, a few weeks ago. So in that disconnect between what you value and how you live, stress just thrives. It loves that space. So that's a question to say is, hold on, what do I care about? Who's me, and am I living that life? If I value time alone, if I value time with my friends, am I doing that at all?
Wow. It seems like a simple question, but there's a gap.
Right.
There's a clear gap.
There's a gap.
And so what some of you are saying to yourselves is, you value stress because that's the value that you're putting on it. You're so focused on that.
That is really well said. It's right. Are you if you value being irritable and angry and overeating, then you are doing great. You are doing great. Your life is perfect.
But if you value your kids, then spend some time with them. How about that?
Right.
And so close the gap. I heard you say that. We have to repeat that. Close the gap.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is my energy in balance? And I'm going to admit something to you and to you, that I was sending a message on Facebook at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So clearly at about 4 this afternoon, my energy is going to be out of whack.
Right.
So.
And I think of energy as what sucks and drains our energy and what replenishes us. So you can think of it like a candy jar, the M&Ms out, the M&Ms in. So if you've got, and everyone has a few kind of toxic relationships in their life, or maybe a job that drains them, or maybe they don't like to work out but they have to go, fine. But then are you also doing what gives you energy? Are you getting that manicure? Are you spending time with someone you love? Are you, snuggling up in bed and watching The Bachelorette? Whatever it is that feeds you. And it's not always perfect. There's going to be some days it's more out, and every once in a while we get a day that's more in. But when you are finding yourself off, look at that.
And when you say whatever feeds you, let's be clear that we need to understand that negativity can feed some people, but that's not what we're talking about. We need to be clear about that.
Right.
Okay.
We are what we eat. If we feed on negativity, we become negative.
The last one, if you feel your life is out of balance somehow, ladies, and all the women that I meet who listen to KMOX, we are all talking about the same thing, that we feel like we are racing from one thing to the next. Is my time in balance?
Right. And there too, again, it's not going to be perfect every day. It's just not. But I think of a pie, and I have my clients do this in my office. And you fill in, say you've got 8 slices and you filled in with what's non-negotiable: eating, sleeping, work, kids, whatever. Fine. But then you look at how big is each slice. And if you've got a huge slice of work pie and no slice of time with family time, or faith time, or time with the dog, or whatever it is, it's not going to work for you. So everything doesn't have to be perfectly balanced all the time, but recut the slices of pie so that they work for your life as best they can on any given day or in any given week.
And I think that whether it's energy or time, there are a lot of women who feel guilty. Yes. I went to get my nails done. And half the time, Debbie, I'm sitting there thinking, I got to get home. People are waiting. I allowed myself to begin to stress while I was doing that thing that was supposed to feed me. So there's a lot of guilt that we carry.
There is. But, sometimes I say, yes, but you are also actively doing something that gives the people around you the gift of a more balanced mom or wife or friend. And so, yes, you are taking that time, but then you're replacing it with a smile instead of a nag when you walk in the door, hopefully.
True. Why is it so hard for us as women to value ourselves, to really go for our goals, to make sure our energies, to go to bed? My goodness, go to bed, okay?
Right.
Why is that so difficult for us?
I don't know. I wish I had
really, let's bottle it. I said I was going to bring an empty bottle in here and have you fill it up. And I met with a client yesterday, and I told her I was meeting with you, and she said, when she has the answer, please call me.
Right. I think some people say I need to be the best this, best that, best this. And I said a long time ago, if I can be my best at being balanced, better. I'm not the best social worker, the best wife, the best mom, the best workout, whatever, but I'm pretty good at being balanced. And so if we can kind of make balance our goal, we might be a little happier.
A little happier.
A little happier.
I would take a little happier. Yeah. A little happier. Debbie, it's so nice to spend time with you.
To spend time with you.
So if you guys have any questions, Debbie, they can reach you. I know you have a website.
DebbieGranick.com.
DebbieGranick.com. We'll put that on the screen. You'll be able to read that right across the bottom here. More Studio B on KMOX coming up.